Have you thought about, was it the colonial commercials and things like that? What might be left to you? How about AARP and sign up for this? You got to do it. And you'll say, hey, I'll put it off till tomorrow. Well, what if that tomorrow was actually yesterday? See, the thing is, the train never stops. Time keeps moving. We all keep getting older. And what happens if there's not a tomorrow? What keeps you possibly from even starting to look into these types of things? Is it too overwhelming? Uh, I don't know who to call. I don't maybe know who to trust. I don't know exactly what all is going to be involved with it. And what do? We push things off to that back burner, or we kind of tuck it back into the closet thinking that it'll just take care of itself. Well, guess what, folks? It doesn't. And somebody else entered into a conversation about that with some family at one point. And he really thought about it, about being prepared. And guess what he did? He actually locked himself into a room and thought about how to really change the entire dynamic of putting together a complete wealth and estate platform. And that's who we're joined with today, Carter Wilcoxson. And I'm actually going to kick it to a video of him before I do, or to let that be his formal introduction. He is the CEO and founder of Epic Services Company. And this is a conglomeration of the trust, the financial piece, all the legal aspects, where someone really thinks about, what is it like as I get further on in life, and what do I need to have prepared? Who do I contact? And he has been able to develop a system of putting all these advisors together to give you a complete network of how the estate planning is going to work. So I'm going to actually move his introduction to this video that he very recently put together, and you get to hear his introduction from this video. And then after that, you get to hear from Carter himself. So after this, I'm turning it over to him, and we hope you enjoy today's presentation.
For over 2 decades, Carter Wilcoxson has been the trusted advisor behind the advisors. Working alongside independent insurance agents and financial professionals, Carter helped them connect with their ideal clients, the families sitting across the table, looking to protect everything they've worked so hard to build. But through countless conversations with these advisors, Carter began to see a troubling pattern. 83% of Americans have no estate plan, and with $124 trillion set to transfer between generations, millions of mass affluent households, families with $500,000 to $5 million in assets, were being left behind. Traditional estate planning was either too expensive or too intimidating. Then came the eureka moment. Carter realized that mass affluent prospects desperately needed access to comprehensive estate and legacy planning. But he also saw another problem. Independent insurance agents and financial advisors were struggling to acquire these very same clients. The solution? Build an ecosystem that solves both problems simultaneously. And so, Epic Services Company was born. The revolutionary estate plan portfolio combines cutting-edge cloud-based software with a dedicated outsourced estate planning team delivering white-glove end-to-end support. By connecting advisors with the households who need them most, Epic creates something truly special. The advisors become the heroes of the story for the mass affluent families they serve. Today, over 60 advisors have joined Epic, achieving a remarkable 52% close rate. But this is just the beginning. Carter's mission is built on 3 powerful principles: educate, enlighten, and empower. Every family deserves to protect their legacy. Every advisor deserves the tools to make it happen. This is Epic Services Company. Join the revolution. Become the hero your clients need.
There, and I think it's going to really prepare us and propel us to hear a great message brought by Carter himself. So, Carter, thank you so much again for joining us today, and we look forward to your presentation. It's all yours.
Absolutely, Kyle. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the audience showing up today. This is something that's been near and dear to my heart since I had seen what we call family fracturing occur in my own wife's family, her grandmother, grandfather, the matriarch and patriarch of her family, of which my son is named 5th generation, named after her grandfather. I saw what happened to close brothers and sisters whenever proper, not only estate planning on the front end, but estate settlement on the back end was not comprehensive. So I set out really on this journey to elevate the client experience, create professional contrast for advisors, and then ultimately help to competitor proof those advisors. So we're going to go through the slide deck here and talk a little bit about, the future of estate planning. And really, it's truly an entire ecosystem and one platform that every advisor today needs. I just got this article yesterday to kind of kick this off, wealthmanagement.com, which is a very well-respected, well-known publication in the financial services world, just put out basically that if you are not leading or have an estate planning solution, then you are going to leave behind or leave opportunities on the table. And that's what Epic has created with this ecosystem that we put together, front end to help advisors connect with those households, and then ultimately to be able to secure them now and into the future. But I'll just read one quote from the article itself, and it says, if you expect to benefit from the wealth transfer, you must be ready for the estate planning that comes with it. Estate planning is the key to keeping clients, families, and assets aligned through this shift. So what are we talking about this shift? We're talking about the $124 trillion great wealth transfer that is amongst us. And, it's probably about 5 years ago, shortly 5 years ago, that was 36 trillion. Now it's all the way up to 124 trillion as markets increase, as beneficiaries or matriarchs and patriarchs are passing away and increasing their estate value. So the estate planning for the masses, right? It's human-led, attorney support, and we help families move from being confused to being confident, and then a turnkey solution for advisors to tap into that we deliver compliant plans that get funded and finished. So here's our agenda today. I've got this quote here that I've shared many times before, and this is the emphasis, right? At Epic Services Company, we make sure that there's always a human component there to guide clients through the entire process. Digital transformation is here. We are living in the digital age. We take advantage of that. But the one thing that I recognize as dealing with, clients that are older generation, those who are nearing those triggering events that are going to happen sooner rather than later in the falls and winters of their life, what I recognize is that they want to be able to have ongoing support, even though they're willing to adopt and accept doing things more online and digitally. I wanted to always make sure that we had human capital that was part of the entire onboarding procedure now and into the future. So our agenda: unlocking the great wealth transfer, the estate planning solution for the masses, turning the estate planning into a growth engine, what makes Epic different, our traction and the outcomes, and then a little bit about our investment opportunity here at the end of it. So why does this matter now, right? Again, the great wealth transfer. Trillions are shifting across generations. And I talk about this regularly when we educate, and our advisors learn this when they go through our school called Epic University, about how outright distribution fails. Without structure or guidance for the inheritors, those assets disappear. Statistically, we know that within 18 months, 70% of the time, within 18 months, no matter how much wealth is inherited, if it's outright inherited, it disappears within 18 months. And again, it doesn't matter if they inherited 500,000 or 5 million. 70% of the time, those inheritances are lost and spent within that 18-month time frame. So the growth, retention, keeping families engaged across generations, that's really about the outcome that leaders really care about. So we take a very proactive approach around education, enlightenment, and empowering these households who hold these assets now on how to systematically and seamlessly put together a true estate plan. And folks, an estate plan is simply planning how your estate is distributed and the things that you've worked so hard for. When you are no longer here, we want to make sure that the goals and objectives and the wishes that you had while you were here are put into a legal construct to ensure that that happens. So next slide. This is really about the client journey, right? We want to make sure that we elevate the client experience. So What do we do for advisors? We are an in-house estate planning solution. We create branding and authority marketing for them. We have turnkey workshops that they then deliver to these mass affluent demographics, end-to-end client onboarding. That's that human component. Once again, a secure portal. That's that digital technology with access to all those client profiles, and then ongoing training and support that advisors get to continually get better at their craft and helping in this subject matter. So it's a proven process, again, with real protection for these households. So, but what does every client, what does every household get when they go through it, right? From day one, clarity about what the steps are, the timing, the team and what they do and what role they play. Again, end-to-end dedicated support, a comprehensive protection, the funding, deed support. Probably the biggest downfall that most, and I've seen this while doing this in my career, illustrious or not, I've seen the reason why and how I started with why do estate plans fail? The number one reasons why estate plans fail whenever you incorporate, a revocable living trust. Well, in order for that to be a functioning revocable living trust that's triggered upon the demise of someone, you have to have funded it. And the problem is, traditionally speaking, that's not been a part of the purpose behind those who have helped in the past. Not throwing anybody under the bus, but we're talking statistically speaking, those who are in the legal profession. But so we make sure that the funding, the deed, retitled, all of those things that need to be done in order to have a successful transition of your assets are top of mind. Legacy stories, which goes way beyond the financial assets. Every household will have the ability to preserve their family history and deliver the wisdom that those assets were created to help ensure that the next generation, when they receive that, don't squander that. And I have a quote that I share all the time that I share at the workshops, that our advisors share what legacy stories is really about. And it goes like this: wealth divorced from the wisdom that created it is all too often wasted by those who inherit it. So we want to ensure that whenever the matriarch and the patriarch are gone for generations, that not only that their assets last longer, but also how their family was created and structured, and that wisdom that needs to be passed on, that is a seamless process as well. That's one of a kind, not available in any other estate planning package. So helping advisors turn estate planning into a growth engine. We created what we call the outsourced estate planning team. It's a white glove experience for clients, typically 4 to 5 client meetings that are managed by our onboarding specialists and network attorneys, where we go all the way from the beginning to the end of a completed estate plan and all the funding of the trust of what I just talked about. The unlimited plans and unlimited updates. This is also one of a kind. Every single one of our clients has the ability, and every one of our advisor clients, the advisors that work with us in those households, to be able to solve this challenge. They can be able to create as many plans as they want to, and their clients can make as many unlimited updates as they want. It's not a one and done scenario. Estate planning is well, let me start with this. Most prospects that we talk with, when we educate, enlighten, and empower them, they think that once they've done this initial process, that they're done. But unfortunately, life changes, right? The one constant that we all have in this life is change, and our system enables those clients to be able to make those changes in real time for the lifetime of their platform that they have. So proven results: advisors commonly close 5 to 10 plans per event. Our most recent advisor, as an example, just today did an event less than a month ago, onboarded his 11th household today. He's in Columbia, Missouri. And when he saw this platform, he realized what a great opportunity this was to, from the beginning, help clients in this area. That then leads to great opportunities for them to help with different type of tax and risk mitigation strategies, i.e. life insurance, annuities, managing assets, whatever the case may be. And statistically, we know only 17% of Americans have a trust, and that's how we build, and that's how we're able to help so many, that 83% in America. So next slide, Rosalie. What's our competitive advantage? Well, it's all about our ecosystem and the distribution through independent agents on a nationwide basis. We have advisors all the way from Oregon to Florida and everywhere in between that are going out there adopting our platform. And what I say on a regular basis is that it's not about software, it's about process, right? And what is different about our process is with intentionality, we help to put a room full of people in front of these advisors that are starving for this information and willing to work with the now hero of the story to be able to get their affairs in order so that they are not leaving a mess behind. And we do it with a very systematic process system, the client acquisition system, creating revenue, scalability, and retention beyond that tech alone. So next slide, Rosalie. So here's just a little bit of the traction and the outcomes just recently as some of our most recent adopters of our platform. You know, one day, 3 different events. An advisor in Austin, Texas here, Dixon, had 122 people register, 49 people attended, 29 appointments were booked. And I can tell you that he ended up onboarding 13 households just from this one event. That's 13 households that he can help. But more importantly for him is why he sees the reason why he's willing to invest into our marketing and branding go-to-market strategy is because it gets his ideal clients in front of him that then lead to these opportunities with the greatest discovery tool on the planet called a revocable living trust that is fully funded. So Rebecca in Arlington, Texas, another part of Texas as well, she ended up having 224 people register. 47 appointments were booked. And I can tell you, updated this, she's actually added 2 more households since we created the slide deck earlier this week. And then Jim Wright, who is potentially our poster child. Very first event, 290 people registered. He's in Columbia, Missouri. This tells you that middle America need access. They need access to the information. And that's what our Epic advisors have the ability to do, is make that information accessible to the mass affluent demographic that cares about their families as much as the wealthiest families that are out there. 290 registrants. Go back just one second. Let me just add a few more things here. First event, 290 registrants, 65 appointment requests, 14 clients. And because he had a practice, he'd been in the industry for years, we are now going back to all of his pre-existing clients that he had from the health industry. So he comes to us from a totally different industry and recognize that those clients also need to get a comprehensive estate plan in place. Okay, go ahead. You can, next slide. So here's our investors corner. Convertible note highlights. So we have a convertible promissory note unsecured with a 10% annual interest to be able to invest in our organization. It is a quarterly interest payouts, 5-year maturity, a conversion price fixed with a 40% bonus in shares. If you fully convert, those shares are priced at $4.50 a share. And then the market size. This is why I recognize this as I started going down this path originally 8 years ago. The $124 trillion obviously makes up millions of households. So the total available market is incredible. Now, this industry in 2023, 15 billion is going to increase by 2032 to 25 billion. And there is no reason to believe that that's going to decrease anytime soon, as the great wealth transfer, which will eventually be called the greater wealth transfer, maybe at some point in the future. So unlimited prepayment without penalty, multiple conversion options, including quarterly partial conversions, automatic conversion upon default to protect investors. And then we will not exceed a 7.5 million total debt borrowed of this total current $2.5 million capital raise that we are doing along with American IRA, where you can now be able to invest your IRA into this solution. So in short, it offers yield now, equity later, and an asymmetric upside that multiplies investor return at future valuations. So with that, I have one last slide, I believe, that I want to share with you, and maybe one after this, but this is needed everywhere. 83% of Americans probably make up the vast majority of the people that are listening to this right now, whether you're listening live or listening in the future. So whether you need an estate plan, we can help. If you're an advisor or an agent looking to scale and grow your practice, we can help. Or if you're searching for your next investment opportunity, we are that solution. So if you want to be able to get in contact with me, the next slide on the screen here, my QR code, this is my direct cell phone number. You can go to our website to learn a little bit more. My email address is here, and then this contact information, you can be able to schedule time with me to be able to get deeper into this opportunity. So with that, that is the end of our presentation. And I'm not sure if we have any questions or comments or whatever the case may be, but that concludes our presentation here today. Kyle?
Thank you so much, Carter. Greatly appreciate that. And Colden, man, I think we're 2 for 2 now on weeks that we have had folks that have come in and have given an immense amount of knowledge, and they've done it in probably some of the smallest time frames that we've seen. Very crisp, very concise. There's a lot of information there. And quite honestly, I bet any of our clientele or any folks who are looking to sharpen the saw, get some more information on opening up their self-directed IRA, I bet you didn't know, or you weren't anticipating having an investment part of this presentation. It's one thing to hear about the advisors. It's one thing to see the opening that we have, but then to also not only know how it all works, but to know that you can actually get in on maybe not even quite the ground floor of this, but that you actually can invest in ways to grow this private company. And remember, you're able to use your self-directed IRA for private equity investing, and that's exactly what this would be. And this has actually been a great relationship here that we've been building with Carter, and why he's so excited because he knows our company. You know, when you start to work with folks that you like, who just really get it, the fact that he has the human approach, the human touch, and you know that when you call American IRA, what happens when you call American IRA? We pick up the phone, right? So now the next best thing is to have that self-directed retirement account at a minimal cost to now be able to turn around and make the investment with Carter. So you want to learn more about Carter and his company, obviously he's got his information there for you. And then also with us, if you want to learn more about your self-directed IRA so that you can actually start moving forward, well, then by all means, we have my information that will be up there as well. And I'm always available for your call so we can have a conversation. And then for folks who you think might benefit from this and they couldn't join us today, always remember that I'm never too busy for any of your referrals. Somebody beat me to one of the questions that we have here is one question we just had pop up here from Carmelo. Carter, what is a minimum investment for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll lead in with one thing that I do want to share, give you a little bit more insight into our growth and our traction. Year over year, we're up over 500%, because the model has been being built out for quite some time. The traction has been being made for quite some time, and that wealthmanagement.com article that I shared with you, it is just now starting to happen where insurance agents, financial advisors are recognizing that if they don't have a solution for this, they're going to miss out on clients. And then for other advisors who already have clients, they're going to lose those clients to those potential epic advisors that can deliver end-to-end estate planning solution in a very comprehensive way for the mass affluent. So the answer to the question is we do a $50,000 minimum investment, and the total raise is $2.5 million that we're looking to raise. Great question, and I'm more than happy to get deeper into the weeds with anybody that's interested in that.
Okay, and I think I've got two here that it looks like they're the same. I've got How long is the investment or the turn time on that investment?
Yeah. So it's a 5-year convertible note.
Okay.
Pays out interest quarterly, and then if you convert, there's actually a 40% bonus on shares of equity at the end of that 5-year note. And there's times along the way where we can be able to, and you're welcome, Carmelo. And there's times along the way if we need to convert some early, we can as well. It's a very flexible convertible note, and it's but 5-year duration is what it is.
And do all investors, is there a must that they're accredited?
Accredited investors as you know, right, in the self-directed IRA business, right, typically on private equity firms. Now, I can tell you that I don't want to necessarily call it a workaround, but there's some other maneuverings that you can be able to do if you might not be what's considered an accredited investor. There's formations that I have people that can form an LLC, and LLC can be able to own this. Your trust can be able to own this. There's a myriad of different ways that you can be able to also own it, to be able to invest into it with your self-directed IRA.
Fantastic. And let me go ahead and then piggyback on that really quick, because there's some folks out there, they've been clients of ours for a while. And from time to time, I'll hear, gosh, I've heard about this checkbook IRA. I'd like to be able to use that. So Carter, if I can just kind of give a plug to the LLC, Carter just mentioned something there of not only being able to invest directly from the IRA, which, as you know, we can hold this asset class directly from the retirement account. Second of all, if you already have the checkbook IRA, or if you're looking to get into what's also called the IRA owned LLC, American IRA is not only a company that allows the use of the LLCs, but we also have the in-house sister company that can put the whole thing together for you. Okay. So if you have just started setting up your IRA, and then the next thing you're looking to do is get the LLC created, hey, no problem. We've got that all under one umbrella, one-stop shop. Okay. Basically like what Carter has with his program. So you get your application completed. Therefore, you're establishing your retirement account. After that, you're funding the account. And then the very next step after all of that is you're going to set up your LLC. We actually have the rep who can help you with that. The actual transaction that takes place is when you direct us to move the money into your new business bank account for your LLC that you've created. And guess what? That's it. Now you can make the investment into Carter's company directly from your LLC if that's what you'd like to do. So we, just like Carter, how he has streamlined all of this on his end, we like to streamline and remove any of the barriers for our clients as well, so that you can make the investment without hesitation. One thing too, Carter, that I know that we've talked about when we've done a podcast together, if you really want to talk about it, I don't know if I kind of knew what you were going to be talking about when you talk about all the different advisors out there, but it's really, when you know about American IRA and what we really believe in, it's about the education. Okay. I mean, obviously I always tell folks, call me a horrible salesman. There's not much for me to sell. Most people already have the product. They've got the retirement account. They have left a company and therefore they had a 401k. You've already got a way to invest. American IRA just offers you the best ability to use those retirement funds to invest in the non-traditional assets, and Carter's being one of them. But we really believe in the education so that you know exactly how to use this. And you've done that as well, is that you don't want people going into the blind, whether they're the individual or even the advisor themselves. So how you've really put the things together of your educate, enlighten, and empower. Can you just expand on that a little bit and let folks know how this came about and why that's such a big deal to you?
Yeah. So all of these events that our Epic advisors give throughout the country, again, and by the way, there's over 1.5 million insurance agents and financial advisors that are available to potentially adopt our platform, and we're just getting started with them. But everything leads with education, right? The educational venues, down to the educational venues, whether it be a library, a community center, whatever the case may be. It's a very cost-effective way to get in front of a room full of people and deliver that education. But really, it's not only the education, it's the enlightenment on the specific subject matter. So revocable living trust, wills, Hollywood. You think you know what it is. And it's that enlightenment that really differentiates our Epic advisors that ultimately will empower those clients to set up an appointment with them to do what we call a complimentary consultation. So we deliver, generic information, if you will, general information, but also specific solutions that we can provide in this hour-long educational setting. Again, like libraries all over the country, or community centers, educational venues, community colleges, things of that nature. So once they end up setting an appointment to come in, to empower them to come into that appointment, that's whenever that complimentary consultation is also the opportunity for the advisor to really go more specific into their current personal situation. And we give these advisors a very seamless way, click a few buttons. And I'll give you a perfect example. I just spoke to Jim Wright just this morning, which is why I know that he now has 15 clients he's onboarded from his event that he gave in the middle of November. And he said, hey, I've got this meeting at 8:00. Clients coming in. We talked in the past before. They're ready to pull the trigger. They're going to come in, and I'm going to take the payment. So we create these dedicated payment links to track what kind of success that we have with these advisors. And we make it real easy for them to simply take some information and then hand them over to their onboarding specialist. I talked with Jim this morning right before his meeting at 8:00. I got a notification at 8:15. The client was already being onboarded, right? So it's just that easy. The reason why this is such a valuable solution and why the educate, enlighten, and empower is all about a process for clients to ultimately get out of their own way. We've learned through the 8 years of doing these educational workshops, clients already know they need to do this. It's just that they've been procrastinating to do it. So until we actually gave them the process to be able to acquire their ideal clients, that everybody wins. It's a winning scenario for everybody. The clients win, the advisors win, and Epic Services Company wins. And then potentially our investors are going to win also, because this is going to be a nonstop pool of opportunity for the foreseeable future. And when I say the foreseeable future, I'm talking about it's been needed for decades before, and it's going to be needed for decades ongoing. So just to drill down a little bit more, that educate, enlighten, and empower are those key phrases around the process to help advisors acquire their ideal clients and help those clients eliminate the procrastination that they've been doing for years.
Great. And along with that, Carter, timeline talking about, we do have a question here from William, and it says, Carter, where do you see the company in 5 years' time? Also, what does Epic offer that sets it ahead of its competitors?
Well, in 5 years, we will be a household name. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, Epic Services Company really did launch to really do three things better than anybody else, right? Elevate the client experience, create professional contrast, and ultimately competitor-proof those ideal clients. So Epic will only continue to grow. We continue to have an incredible team, a bunch of our team members, from graphic design to onboarding specialists to network attorneys, everything that an advisor would ever need without having to go out there and hire staff himself. We become their back office support and their marketing engine to be able to acquire those clients. So what does Epic offer that sets it ahead of its competitors? I can tell you that without exception, and I'm willing to go to the mat with anybody on this, there's a lot of competition when it comes to a digital estate planning solution. Nothing is an entire complete ecosystem, right? From front-end education to the conversion tool to the back-end, continuous support that helps advisors and their clients to eliminate that family fracturing that is going to occur if they do not do this. But it has to be a well thought out, comprehensive estate plan. And I might have said this in the beginning, but it bears repeating. I started with, why do estate plans fail now? And it's because it started with my own story, my own understanding of my wife's family, when her grandpa Sam and her grandmother Velma, when they passed away, and I saw my now father-in-law and his brother, my uncle, and his sister, my aunt, when I saw the infighting that occurred, I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way, right? But what you have to do is you have to do the research first and foremost on why do estate plans fail. That's what separates us from everybody else in our industry, is because it includes the entire estate settlement process. It includes liquidity access that, traditionally speaking, is not available unless you have to start, when you pass away, you have to start a claims process. And what's required for any claims process is a death certificate. We have a tool and a solution that gives the families, the beneficiaries, on one of the worst times of their lives, whenever mom and dad have passed away, access immediately within 24 to 48 hours. That proactively has been put into place that we can get access to without a death certificate. Everything else requires a death claim or requires a death certificate. Our process includes access to the liquidity that ultimately just accelerates the beneficiary's inheritance anyway. So it's not like you're even buying something new. It is simply making accessible assets now within 24 to 48 hours, so that the grieving can be able to happen without wondering who's going to have to come out of pocket for, someone flying in, for someone traveling, for the actual funeral expense and the food and the post event. We've thought of everything that can have a successful, seamless estate plan. And what does that do? This is the most important part for your listeners right now. What that does is eliminates family fracturing, so that when the matriarch and patriarch are no longer on this earth, they have a family that still gets together on Thanksgiving. We're coming into the holidays, Christmas right around the corner, right? It enables families to stay cohesive because of the well thought out, comprehensive planning that we've done that ensures a guaranteed a settlement on the back end whenever Mr. and Mrs. Jones passes away.
Thank you so much for really elaborating on that, Carter. It's sometimes not always the easiest conversations and the thoughts to have, and why we're actually having these. I mean, I have sat in on trust building myself, and if you haven't done that yet, it's powerful, because you're talking about your end, okay, and it's not just about the weight of the client that is putting all this together. As Carter has really alluded to, it's about the folks coming after, okay? And so whether it's the beneficiaries of your self-directed IRA, whether it's going to be the beneficiaries of the folks who will inherit or have to deal with these things, again, after you're no longer here. You're not here. It's not going to bother you any longer. But for those that are left behind, I can tell you that it's also good to have those business representatives there backing you, because a lot of it at that point does become a lot of business decisions where your emotions aren't going to let you go there. And so this also creates the business mind that you're going to need when, quite honestly, you can't focus on that. Well, Carter, we greatly appreciate this. I know it's something that we're going to look forward to having you back in the future. And between now and then, again, folks, if you are looking to get more information on this, really, whether you're an advisor out there, whether you want to talk to your advisor about reaching out to Carter, that right there is something as well. Refer your advisor over and then see how that can turn out for the better for all of you. So, Carter, wish you and all your staff and your family a Merry Christmas. And then for everyone who's out there listening to us here on the IRA Cafe, we want to invite you always to look at our website. Feel free to always go in there, look at any of our educational materials at AmericanIRA.com. for any of your social platforms, whether that is Instagram, whether it is Facebook, whatever it is, find us, like us. You'll start getting information about who's coming up in the future and who's really on at that time. And you can even see on Facebook Live. For anybody who's a YouTuber, feel free to always look for us on YouTube as well and subscribe to that channel and like everything on there that you can see. There's a lot of information that our team has put out there. It is timely, it is important, and it is all there for your benefit to learn more and be educated as you move forward with your investment objectives. Also, since we are wrapping up 2025, don't forget to join us on January the 7th, where we will start off the year with Brian Elam. And Brian is a longtime attorney who has closed actually a lot of deals for American IRA clients. So he's going to be bringing, no kidding, some really firsthand good information for you to have. If you are delving into real estate now, or if you're looking to get back into it, or if you are a long-time real estate investor with your self-directed retirement account, there is no doubt that you are going to get some great information from Brian's presentation. So we welcome him on January the 7th. So for everyone here at American IRA, we wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And everyone from the American IRA Cafe platform powered by American IRA, we're so glad to be able to serve you. So until next time, have a great remainder of your week and weekend in 2025. This presentation is for educational purposes only. American IRA, headquartered in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, is a neutral third-party administrator on behalf of the custodian New Vision Trust Company, a state-chartered trust company based in South Dakota also, and does not offer investment advice or endorsements. We are not responsible for statements made by others, and references to we and us refer to American IRA only. We encourage you to do your own due diligence and consult with qualified professionals before making any investment decisions.